Welcome again to mentors, to guest speaker, and to the mentees. This is session number 4 of 6. This is a program that we kicked off in early part of February, and we're almost two-thirds of the way. And today we actually have I'll just walk you through a little bit of the framework, and then I'll get into inviting our guest speaker for today. Right. Let me share that. Okay, if y'all can see that. Okay, so just a couple of slides. Basically, just explaining to you what the OA mentoring framework is. It's divided into 3 parts. Part 1 is about why and who. We had session 1 and 2, and then part 2. This is we had session 3 last week, which was setting smart goals, and today we are into session 4, which is this is my story. And then we will finish it off on part 3, which is what and when, where we go into the job search strategy on session 5. And then session 6 will actually have job ready and prepare the mentees with mock interviews. And the outcome of this obviously is to help them get a job if they haven't already, into the profession or the career or the job transition that they want to go into. So that's the objective. And so we had this last week where we talked about the SMART goals, and then and today it's about crafting your story. We touched on a bit last week, and it's talking about your achievements. We've got the one-page marketing plan, the newsletter, and leveling up my LinkedIn. So these are tools and strategies that obviously we can use, and we've shared them with the mentees as well. But I think more importantly is tools and techniques and strategies are fine, but what is customizable for you and what works for you? Because what sometimes works for me may not necessarily 100% work for you. So it's all about customizing. It's all about what are the gaps that you probably have, and this mentoring program is to help I guess the mentees with addressing that gaps, identifying it, and see how we can help them have breakthroughs in their career transition. So I'll stop the sharing right now, and it actually gives me a great pleasure to invite the guest speaker for today. I'll just run through a little bit of his bio. So Sam Lee had experienced a very rocky road during high school, university, and post-university, right? And he shares that when he was in high school, he was very vulnerable and being bullied. So apparently, in his story, he might share today that he has been hospitalized a couple of times. So he's actually he's overcome that. He's had his own personal breakthroughs, and he's actually published a self-help book. It's called The Social Way. I'll get probably Sam to probably talk to you a little bit more about that one. And he's on actually a mission. He's want to send the message to the world that that he wants to help people who probably being bullied like him or vice versa, and all that. So he works predominantly with business owners and corporate professionals today, who struggle to be heard above all the other extroverts out there, because I think I think he says he's now representing a lot of the introverts. So there's no such thing as introvert is a good thing or bad thing. It is who you are. But it's not about our personality. It's about our purpose and our passion, right? So without much further ado, I'd like to bring on the stage Sam Lee, who's the founder of Connect with Confidence. Over to you, Sam.
Thank you, Sana, for the great introduction. What you said just then, and thumbs up to Opportunities Australia, Kumar, founder, and Sana for giving me this great opportunity to present today. And I was just like a student from like you as well. I was the first batch of students in November. I think you guys are the second batch of the Opportunities Australia. Make sure you put your effort into joining all these nice content to help you to find a job and to job seek, because all this content is very useful for you. And hopefully you guys can graduate with through Opportunities Australia. It's a great experience, and hopefully you can look up to Kumar and Sundar. And without further ado, yeah, like I said, my name is Sam Lee. I'm the founder of Connect with Confidence. And yeah, I just want to share my screen now so I can get started. So can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Sounds good. No worries. Let me just put this. Let's put a thing. So yeah, so if you guys are looking for a job or you're looking for job opportunities, social skills is very important in terms of getting your 9-to-5 job or your job or even business as well. So if you get a job, you need to build trust with your counterparts, like your colleagues and your managers, and that's how you can keep your job, like build better relationships with your uplines and counterparts. So I've been in a job before, like as a sales, BDM, etc. And you really need to know how to build trust, like build rapport with people. And in order to do that, you need to have great social skills. And what I mean by social skills, like you guys can confidently talk with, like say, your colleagues and things like that. So so social skills is very important in all walks of life. So like I said, yeah, I'm on a mission to help people to improve on their social skills in all walks of life. So today is going to be very interactive. I'll be asking you guys some questions. Feel free to answer because I'm not going to do all the speaking. Might be a little bit boring, so that's why I'm going to make it more interactive for you guys. So don't be shy. If you have any questions, feel free to answer, and I'll be asking you guys some questions. So a little bit about myself. Like I said, great introduction from Sudha. My name is Sam Lee. I'm a social confidence coach. I'm a 2-time author. So later on, I'll be explaining why I wrote the book, etc. And I'm a keynote speaker as well. So I've been featured in a couple of local radio stations in Sydney. My books in Dymocks, bookstores. I've been doing workshops for BNI Corporate. For BNI, if you heard of it before, Asian Connect. I've been doing speaking gigs in State Library of New South Wales. And I've been running my business through a Small Business Month, etc. And TICA as well, which is a Melbourne online streaming. So who here agrees with me? In business or as in life, 85% of success comes from the ability to connect and communicate. Has anyone read this, know who Dale Carnegie is? Raise your hands if you heard of him before. Yep, cool. So he wrote the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, and it's sold to 50 million copies worldwide. And like I said, this quote really resonates with me because you need to know how to connect with people. And it really depends on how well you connect with the person and build trust with your counterparts. So here are some, like this is some of the traits that I help people with. So if you're lacking social skills, if you're lacking social confidence, you have social anxiety, or you have social depression, anxiety or depression, you're shy, you're nervous, introverted, you want to improve on your communication skills such as ice breaking and starting an interesting conversation. You don't know how to build trust with people and connect to your people. You want to build a big network, but you don't know how to do it. You don't have that much friends. You want to be promoting your job, and you want to be profitable in your business. So who here actually resonates with any of these people? If you guys want to share, feel free to unmute yourself and let me know what kind of stuff, ones that I just said that you resonate with. Or you can just type in the chat box, which ones do you think resonates with you?
I'll actually go. I'll probably say I'm actually an introvert by personality, and I'm trying to be an extrovert. So.
That's cool. Yeah. Well, it's like what Suma said. You're either born with it, etc. So, but like if you're introvert, you can learn the skills of extrovert. I can tell you that because it's just like learning a new language. Socializing is made easy if you know how to. The more you practice it, the better you get. And I'm here to skill you up in terms of how to make a introvert into an extrovert. So very well said, Manav. I appreciate it. So Jeff said, want to grow a network. Yeah, it's really cool. So I help people to grow their network. And as they all say, your network equals your net worth. So it's really true. Cool. Anyone else want to share? Or else I can keep going.
Sundar here. Sam.
Yep. Sorry, who said something?
Just want to know, how can you hear me?
Sorry.
Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you better now. Yeah.
Okay. Now, just connecting with the young, what is it, I generation or whatever the generation, because sometimes they talk a language which sounds like English, but I can't understand.
Mm-hmm.
I've got teenage children, so sometimes they talk a language which may not be translatable.
Yeah, because it's a different world, like the young people and the older people, right? So yeah, really cool. So here's my book, 2 books. So in 2019, I wrote the book, The Social Way: 8 Powerful Steps to Transform Yourself into a Friend Magnet. So basically, why I wrote this book is because, like what Sundar said, I was very, very vulnerable. I was very nervous. I was very shy. I was very introverted when I met new people, and it got to the point where I was being bullied in online, offline, social media, etc. Like, and so I said to myself, I'm gonna stop this. I'm gonna change my life around. I'm gonna connect with like-minded people, because there's no point in connecting with people that don't resonate with, right? So that's why I 2000 enough, because like and also been diagnosed with depression before, and I went to hospital for 3 times. So like I said to myself, I had enough of this, and I'm gonna make a change to this to help people to improve on the social skills, so they don't bully people, and also to just to help those that are vulnerable to be bullied to be connecting with like-minded people. So yeah, and also send a message to those that bully that it's not a good thing to do, because it affects the mental health, and it leads to all sorts of, like, say, anxiety, depression. So that's why my story here is just to help. I wrote the book Social Way and connected with confidence. I wrote this in 2020 when COVID hit. So I wrote this book for a professional level to help people to improve on their social skills in a professional level. So if you're looking to get a job, you want to start your own business, I wrote this Connect with Confidence book, how to professionally build rapport and connect with people that matter to you. It's all about connections and friendships to make an affair. So my role here today is to help you go from shy, introverted, nervous, and lack confidence when it comes to connecting with people. And like I said before, if you have any questions or you want to ask me a question, feel free to unmute yourself, and I'm here to answer any questions that you're unclear of. So as you may know, Warren Buffett, the greatest investor of all time, the best investment you can make is an investment in yourself. The more you learn, the more you earn. So the more you personally develop yourself, you'll be a more evolved person in a way. And I also want to ask you, what is the hardest part about connecting with people? Does anyone want to share?
What they think of us.
Okay, being judged, right? Yeah, that's very true. So the way you present yourself, the people judge you upon. And in order to make it, so today I'll be talking about how to make a good first impression. And I'll go into why people judge you and how long does it take for someone to form a first impression of you and judge you. And this is the road to connect with confidence. If you want to connect with anyone at any time, so that's my motto. I help people to connect with anyone at any time. And basically what it involves in this road is how to make a good first impression, how to use effective body language, how to have an attitude and mindset that's open, and how to build trust online. Like we're in this digital age. We need to know how to connect with people, not just offline, but in online mediums as well. That's how you build connections in your further. Like if you're on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, whatever you name it, you need to be active if you want to grow a big network. So as well. So yes, so you can use it offline and online as well. And also a lot of people like don't know how to converse comfortably and converse with confidence because they're shy to talk to people. They might stutter. They might be afraid of speaking to people. And also, if you have a good sense of humor as well, it also helps with you to connect with people as well. And last but not least, also to establish boundaries and bottom lines for yourself, so you don't get manipulated from other people. So here's I'm going to go into the topic of first impression. So you never get a second chance to make your first impression by Andrew Grant. So that's very true. So like I said, how long does it take for someone to form a first impression of you? Anyone, any takers? Feel free to type in the chat box or say it out.
About 15 seconds.
Okay, Alberto say 15 seconds. Simran, raise your hand. What did you say?
10 seconds.
10 seconds. Cool. Anyone else?
I was going to say the same 10 seconds.
10 seconds. Okay. Okay. Sundar says 7 seconds. So everyone's a little bit over because it only takes the first 3 seconds. So immediately they get like once you connect with them, they can like judge you in the first 3 seconds. That makes sense. So the way you dress, the way you present yourself, the way you greet people, it all resonates on how they judge you in terms of making an impression on people. So I'm going to go into first impression today. How to make a good greeting, initiating a handshake, your focal tonality, how to dress to impress with people, putting the phone down in terms of professional matters, and how to make a good make a graceful exit. So basically, how to make a good first impression is the way you make an entrance all the way to making an exit, if that makes sense. So why is it important to make a great first impression? Does anyone know why?
Would it be that the first time you're making that people have their first impression of you, it builds a little bit of they've already made certain maybe conclusions or judgment of you, and it's going to be a little bit difficult to maybe think otherwise. It'll take them some time. Is that correct?
Yeah. I guess in a way that you get judged like very quickly. So the way you present yourself is very important. Like the way you dress, like say for example, Sila, you dress very nicely, like you look very professional, you got a suit on. That's a good first impression, like for like in a professional sense. So yeah, it's really cool. So anyone else? So we've got Simran, got a hands up.
So I think it's important to during the first impression how you impact, like your impact in the first meeting, and how the other person thinks about you.
Mm-hmm. Correct. Yeah, that's true. That's very true. How about you, Jeff?
So my take on this is mostly human mind always tends to form associations when they look at someone. So the first time I come in front of someone and have a conversation, they're going to have that mental imagery of who I am and what kind of impact I deliver. So that imagery is very important. So that's something I feel is the reason why we have to make a first impression the best one.
Yeah, that's it. How about Roberto? Did you have something to say?
I just wanted to say that first impression in a matter of seconds is going to color everything else that they respond to for the rest of the meeting. So if you set that off on the wrong tone, it can ruin all the effort you put in after that.
Well, very well said, Roberto. So say, for example, you're looking for a job, like in your job list, how to make a good first impression in your job interview really matters. Like the way you dress, the way you present yourself, the way you talk to people, how confident you are in terms of pitching yourself, etc. It really counts in terms of the first impression. So people judge you the way you dress, the way you talk, the way your attitude you have, your confidence level as well. So all this comes into play when you make it. If you go for a job interview, and if you get the job, how to speak with people as well. So initiate a handshake. I don't need to go through this. There's no rocket science. But why should you initiate a handshake? Because if you're who's the kind of guy that's passive, waiting for someone to shake their hands, and who's the person that wants to initiate the handshake? Anyone want to share?
I usually initiate the handshake, but it was not always like that. When probably growing up, I was a little bit shy and introverted as well. But it's something, as you said, having the courage, building up the skill, and watching and observing people who I saw as successful or powerful, right? And so they were very confident about themselves. So they always, put their hand out first.
Yeah, that's cool. So yeah, like if you initiate a handshake, guess what? It shows you're willing to connect. You're open, you're friendly, and you're sincere and genuine. So the handshake can give you all these characteristics.
I would like to ask this question. So sincere and genuine, if you put your hand forward for a handshake, it makes you that. Sam?
Yeah.
So can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Yeah. So when you put your hand, forward for a shake, it makes you look sincere and genuine.
Yeah. Correct. It makes you feel confident. Like this is just like approaching someone that's a stranger of you. If you initiate you put yourself in our person's shoes, they'll think that you're you're friendly, like you're very open to connect with people. So yeah, that's what I mean by like it shows how genuine, how sincere you are as a person when you connect with people. If that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
No worries.
Is that being confused? Excuse me, is that being confused at the moment because of COVID, Sam?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, some people will just not take your hand, or they'll expect an elbow or whatever.
Yeah, well, there's a disruption there, there's a COVID disruption for you. So I guess nowadays you just need to, like what you said, elbow knock, fist pump. That's what we've been doing. But when it goes back to normal, like you're back to the handshake. If that makes sense. It's just the difficult times. You can't really unprecedented times that you can't really do much. So all right, I'm gonna keep to time because I don't have much time left because I'm gonna keep to half an hour. And yeah, basically introductory greetings, say hi, name, you perform a firm handshake, and and there's Aussie people go. How are you going, mate? How are you going? So it's like easy as 1, 2, 3, ABC. Like just saying hi, like how to perform an introductory greeting. And the next topic is your focal tonality. Why should you introduce yourself clearly, calmly, and confidently? Because like I said, it will show your confidence when you speak with people. And especially in job interviews, the way you present your tonality really important. It's very important when they observe you to see if you're very confident as a person. So here's some tips and hints and tips. So for your focal tonality tips, the volume must be medium, not too high, not too low, or it will sound like you are shouting at the receiver, and not too low where the receiver will need to say, "Excuse me, what did you say?" Because they can't hear you. So the sound pitch must be pleasant to the ear, not too screechy or not too shallow. Avoid awkward silences, ums and ahs, because if you have like, who here normally sometimes stutter when you speak to people, like especially in a job interview, like sometimes my and stuff like that. So that's kind of like a turn off. So try to avoid all these things, all these kind of on during your speech, and they'll help you as well. Your focal speech should be medium, where you shouldn't be talking too fast or too slow. But I'm talking a bit too fast at the moment. But yeah, normally when you need to speak to people, just be in the medium spectrum, and that's music to people's ears, if that makes sense. And yeah, like I said before, if it's too slow, it makes people impatient when talking to you, or if it's too fast, it makes people want you to talk slower. And now I'm going to talk to how do you dress for success. And like I said, the way you present yourself, people can judge you in the first 3 seconds. So being attention to detail by yourself, if you write this down, this will help you out. Be attention to detail. When you look in the mirror, are you looking flawless? Are you looking presentable? And I know here, Sunja is looking very good today. He's got a suit on. Looks very professional. And Kuma's got a collar shirt, which is cool. I like that. And yeah, basically it's really about being dressing for professionalism. And here are some recommendations for dress for success. You don't have to follow it, but these are just some guidelines that I can give you a recommendation. Make sure your hair, like I said, attention to detail is the key. Make sure your hair is very neat and tidy. No, it's not like you just woke up like with your hair everywhere. Your face, make sure it's clean, it's very cool. So it makes an impression as well. Your clothing, make sure it's pressed, very easy, very good, because people sometimes judge you if you press your clothes or not, or it's scrunched up. For guys, zipper, make sure the zipper is done up. Sometimes I see people on networking events, the zipper is undone, so that's not a good sight for people. Even for women, there's no women today, but putting makeup on it makes a very big difference as well in terms of going to the job interview, etc. Piercings, other than women for the years, like in terms of if you look for a job, you'll hide your piercings, right? Like your earrings, etc. But for women, earrings fine. But like I said before, you're looking for professionalism here. So make sure you have presentable facial hair. You build in corporates as well. Tattoos. Make sure you hide your tattoos because it's confronting if you go to like a job interview or even in a corporate. People look at you. Sometimes it's a little bit confronting as well. What happens if you have bad breath? It means so some people have bad breath as well, and it turns people off as well. That makes sense. Bad odor. If you have bad odor, put some perfume on. Bad odor, put some deodorant on. Perfume. Don't spray too much or be a little bit too offensive. Just spray perfume helps out as well. And make sure you have enough sleep. So they said that 8 hours of sleep is good enough for to have a good mood for yourself when you meet people. So if you sleep like 3 or 4 hours, you look like a ghost or something like that, and then the way you present yourself is a little bit harder, if that makes sense. Any questions so far?
Sam, I know maybe the culture. I come from Malaysia, so it's a little bit conservative. Well, here Australia, you've got so tattoo is part of the culture, right? Obviously people have. I guess for some jobs it might not be an issue, but I think for most white collar professional jobs, a certain level of decency. It's not to say people don't have tattoos, right? So what's the experience here? I mean, in Australia, is that a big problem because it's already accepted culture here?
Well, it's a free country like in Australia. Like anyone can do anything, right? But like I said before, in a social context, it's fine. But like I say, in a professional context, like people look at you and see if you're a friend, like you're welcoming, or they might step away from you if they look at tattoos and things like that. So that's what I mean. Like it's really about that image of yourself that represent people. Say for example, like if you wear like a collar shirt, like it covers your tattoos or anything like that, that's completely fine. It's just, sometimes your image is very important, like I said, like your first 3 seconds. So would you, like, if I ask you this question, if you go to a job interview and you reveal your tattoos, what would the interviewer say? What would the interviewer think of you? Yeah.
Okay, the only probably maybe acceptable, because like for example, I work with Down and we've got a big operation, in fact, a pretty sizable presence in New Zealand as well. And in New Zealand, you've got the Maori culture where they have tattoo as part of their tradition and culture. So I guess when it's cultural or it's in part of their tradition, then we have to look at it probably in a different perspective. Yeah.
Very true. Like I said, it's really up to you. Like what works for you is fine. Like I said, this is just some recommendations. Like you don't have to follow it, but it's best practices, if that makes sense. Yeah. So Roberto, did you want to say something?
What I wanted to emphasize here is choosing how to dress for the interview should reflect the job and the way the people in that job dress, or the way the boss dresses. There's an old saying about dress for the job you want, not the job you have.
Yeah, it's very true.
But if you can overdress as well, if you find that, for example, in a lot of the modern high-tech industries, you will not find anybody wearing a tie or even a suit jacket. And if you come in dressed in a suit jacket or a suit and a tie, they're going to think you're a fogey, that you're just not cool enough for them. On the other side of that, if you dress to match them, then they see that you're going to fit in. And I just wanted to comment too on the tattoos. There are a couple of different things. If you're a native islander, that's one thing. If you're coming in for a job as a plumber or a tradie, then tattoos on the arms and shoulders and neck might be okay.
Yeah.
On the other hand, there isn't any job you can be coming in for where face tattoos are okay. That just says, I only recently got out of prison.
Yeah, like I said before, context specific, right? Plumber is fine, but if you go to like corporate, a more professional job, then yeah, depends how you feel it. So, but yeah, thanks for your input, Roberta. That's very good. So, and also I want to talk about putting down a phone. Like we always have the phone. We're using the phone 24/7. Like we always have to look at the phone. So by all means, you just switch off your phone like when connecting to people, and also from a job interview point of view. Like you don't want your phone to ring while the interview happens, right? So if you silence your phone or switch it off during the important times, it'll be good. If you go to networking events as well, you network with people, also you could put it in silence, etc. as well. So and if you're and what would you do if you're talking to someone and your phone rings and someone that's important that you can't get off? I think you can say that sorry, I've got an important phone call to talk. Can I come get back to you later? So really, like I said, the phone is a distraction as well. So it's a bit bear in mind of that. And like I said, making a graceful exit matters as well. So the last impression is just as important as the first impression. It's not about just making an entrance. The way you make an exit is very influential on your impression as well. So make sure you know how to make an entrance and make an exit, and then you'll do fine in terms of making a good first impression. So yeah, basically like I said, making a good impression. Some recommendations to make a good exit. Well, it's nice talking to you. I hope we can meet each other again. If you're like, yeah, how about we exchange contact details? It's what's best for you on LinkedIn. That's if you go to a networking event, but if you get a job, yeah, it's always good to be graceful to when you speaking to people and employers. And yeah, that's pretty much what I want to share today. I got more content to go, but according to time, I did speak to it. So yeah, basically, do you guys have any questions for me so far?
Sam, maybe just if you're okay to stay for another 5-10 minutes, it's fine. If you want to maybe cover some things, but maybe some of the one question I have for you. I know you've been taking a lot of clients through this last couple of years. What have been some of the most challenging, maybe without going into your client detail, but maybe some of the aspects of how the client were coming to you initially, and then as a result of going through this program, they came out a better version of themselves. So what are some of maybe things that you could probably share with us?
Yeah, I can share a testimonial with you. I was just about to go into that.
Yeah.
Question. So yeah, basically, before I go into the testimonials, if you want to connect with me today, I'm on Instagram, Connect with Confidence. I'm on LinkedIn as well, and also I'm on Facebook. If you guys want to add me on Facebook, my personal account is facebook.com/Sam Lee. I'm very welcoming to speak to you as well to increase my network as well. That's how you can grow a network online as well if you follow each other. Makes sense. And I now want to talk about something that just read my mind. I want to go into one of my clients' testimonial. So here's Arvid. That's me on the left-hand side, and Arvid's on the right-hand side. So Arvid's background is an immigration specialist. He runs his own business. So before, he was very shy when he approached me. He's very shy. He wanted to know how to socialize better so he can build trust with his clients. Because without being trusted with his clients, it's very hard to close the sale. So the kind of person you are when you approach people, it really says the kind of person who you are. So now I'm going to go into a little bit about his story. So like I said before, he was very shy. He's very introverted. He lacked and he's also an immigrant as well from China. So yeah, like there's probably like a language barrier and anything like that, or they feel nervous as well when speaking to people. So before, like I said, he was very shy, introverted, and he signed up for my workshop. He actually discovered a lot of blind spots. So what I mean by blind spot is they didn't know if they're actually building trust with people or they're jeopardizing themselves from connecting with people. So I helped him to find all his blind spots and then to correct them as well. So the next time when he speaks to people or his clients, so he can speak to people effectively and close the sale in terms of his business. So he's, like I said before, he's an immigration specialist. He came to me. He wants to become a people's person, to know how to socialize better and to be more welcoming. And like I said, after being coached by me, you can see the results, and he really thanked me for helping him out, because like he really was like very nervous when it comes to connecting new people. And that's like, he's probably an introvert as well, because he just like just very born like that characteristic by himself. So my reason for sharing for Alfred's story today, you might be in the same position, you might be shy, you might be introverted, you lack that confidence when you connect with people. But so that's why people come to me, to help to break free of that shyness, their nervousness, their confidence, you name it. So people like, and I help them to improve on their social confidence, and also to improve on their social skills when they become a client. So here's just one of Alfred's testimony. I'm just going to read it very quickly. Unfavorable people skills is the worst bad habit that anyone could have. We keep doing the same thing over years without knowing it's harmful when connecting with people around us or with other individual friends. Sam's workshop provided other practical approaches to help you identify the bad habits when you have developed, and assisting to cause self-awareness when communicating with others. So it is a great program that I would recommend all people from walks of life. What I've learned is practical and applicable skills in our daily communication in various scenarios. So great workshop, Sam. Thank you for the invitation to a great program. So yeah, I just had to read that very quickly. And does that answer your question, Stemna?
Yep.
Like one of the scenarios that one of the clients come to me. So I've got all clients from all walks of life. I'm currently coaching a university student who has autism. So like when you have autism, you're not socializing that well. So I actually help people with autism as well. From uni student, I've helped a English teacher that's around 50 or 60 something years old. I've helped a lawyer to improve my skills as well. And basically my target market is basically people that are in the back end of the office, like people in the IT industry, accountants, lawyers, administrators, like people who are always in the computer. They have little interaction with people. So those are the kind of people that I help as well from, in terms of my niche market. Yeah. So I'm pretty much that's what I want to talk today. If you're interested further, I've actually got coaching programs. So if you want to speak to me later on, I'm happy to talk as well. So I've got level 1, level 2, level 3 programs. So it really depends on if you want to do basic, intermediate, or advanced coaching. So it all has different durations. So the first level has 2 months, the level 2 3 months, and the 1 year is 1 year as well. So it really depends if you really want it. So it all includes on coaching, face-to-face, on Zoom. Also, it has an online program that I guide you towards, so one-on-one as well. So if you want to talk about my coaching programs, feel free to schedule an introductory session with me. I'll put it on the chat box, Calendly.com, Calendly, Sam the Connect with Confidence, 30 minutes, and I can do a discovery session with you to see how I can help you out further in terms of building your confidence and social skills when you connect with people. So definitely that draws to a close for me. I hope you learned something today from me. And yeah, hopefully you guys can nail your job, getting a job, and utilizing how to make a good first impression, because that really counts. And any questions so far?
You can either put it in the chat box or just raise your hand.
Yeah.
All right.
Any questions or?
All good.
Okay. So what is something you learned today? Did anything that you wasn't sure of that you do you want to share or anything like that?
It's open to everyone. But to me, I guess one thing I sort of gleaned out of this or realized out of this, that it's interesting when you said that people who work in the background, work with computers, who don't deal much with people, and they could be from whatever levels, whatever backgrounds. They could be, like what he said, Arvid was running his own business, and you would think a person who's running his own business might already be customer facing, but even he still had issues, didn't he?
Yeah, that's correct. So it's like you're born that way. So, but like I said, you can either be an introvert, you can either be an omnivert, like which is the middle, half introvert, half extrovert. I believe I'm an ambivert as well. So I'm a little bit shy, I'm a little bit outgoing as well. So I'm in the middle. So I wouldn't call myself a very extroverted person,
Yeah.
but probably in the middle spectrum. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's interesting you mentioned BNI because there was I read a book and in fact part of a podcast, and he was interviewing the founder of BNI, and he actually shared, but he seemed like a very extrovert person, and he thought he was an extrovert person, but his wife actually told him he was actually an introvert because but it didn't stop him from going out there and impacting lives. So I think when you have a purpose, when you have a passion, where that drives you, so whether you're introvert or not, I think that your personality is it's secondary. I think you have a bigger goal or mission to go out there and do that. So yeah. So thanks Sam, and let's join me in thanking Sam for sharing his journey and a little bit of what he is doing, and then hopefully that was some tips and some nuggets that will help you along your journey, because I think whether it's looking for a job for the first time or your career transitioning, it's an ongoing process. It's a continuous improvement.
Thanks for that. I appreciate it, Sana and Kumar, for giving me the opportunity. And basically, if you want to connect with me, if you connect with me on social media, I'm very open to build my network. And yeah, like I said, learning a new language, social skills is very important in all walks of life. So if you nail it, you can connect with anyone at any time. That's my motto. So thanks a lot, Sana. And I'll just share the calendar event. If anyone wants to do a discovery session with me, it's free of charge, 15-20 minutes, and I get to assess you on how well you can connect with people. If you want to go the next step further, I'll show on the screen. But yeah, that's pretty much me. And let me just share the screen, share the calendar.
You can put that in the chat box.
I'll just put it on the chat box.
Already there.
Feel free to connect with me, like I said, on discovery session and other bites. I'm just trying to help you out. But yeah, thanks for the share. Thanks for getting me today, Sana. I really appreciate you getting me to be a guest speaker, and I hope you guys can help these students to thrive even further. So yeah.
Right. Thanks, Sam.
Thank you for coming, Sam. We
All right.
appreciate that.
Have a good one. Talk to you guys later. Bye bye.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Yes.
All right. So recording has been paused.